This is NNI Bites Big Learnings, a podcast where fellow healthcare professionals converse about the latest on nutrition science. Join us as Flavia Indrio and Andrew Bartko share their knowledge and insights on environmental and microbiota intersection with human health.
Hello and welcome to today's special episode of Nestlé Nutrition Institute podcast, NNI Bites Big Learnings. I'm your host for today. I'm Flavia Indrio. I'm professor of pediatrics at University of Salento Lecce in Italy. And my research are mainly focused on prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotics in pediatrics related to gastrointestinal and nutrition in children. So today we will be discussing environmental and microbiota intersection with human health. This will guide us to better understand the concept of One Health. That is a concept that is now leading research in medical and environmental science. Today we have a special guest that is Professor Andrew Bartko. Let's get started. So, Andrew, could you please introduce yourself to our listener? What inspired you to specialize in this field? Please tell us.
Very happy to be here today. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's very nice to see you again, Flavia. So my name is Andrew Bartko. I am a professor of practice at the University of California, San Diego, with appointments in pediatrics and bioengineering. My research centers around innovations surrounding the microbiome. So I research and conduct different projects for a variety of different industrially relevant applications that use the microbiome as a tool to help shape health and wellness or to influence the environment in some way, shape, or form. I've come to study the microbiome from an industrial setting where I developed different types of microbial identification assays to understand how these different organisms and taxa exist and can be sensed within the environment.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction, Andrew. And we are so excited to have you here. Let's start with the question. So first question is, can you explain what microbiome science is and why it's crucial for human health and wellness?
Yes, certainly. Great question. So the microbiome, there are a variety of different microbiomes. And what microbiome really means is a region or a setting in which we study the microbes that exist within that particular region. There are a variety of different microbiomes throughout the world. So there are environmental, there are soil, there are air microbiomes. But most importantly for today, we're going to talk about the microbiomes that exist within people. So the different types of microbiomes within humans include the organisms that occupy your skin, the organisms that populate your gut, intestines, and digestive tract, and even the other microbiomes that do exist within your lungs or other body sites within people. Primarily today, we'll talk mostly about the gut microbiome and how the environment plays a role in what you eat and how that is metabolized into chemicals that drive your health.
Thank you so much. So how does the complexity and the variability of local environments affect our understanding and application of microbiome science?
Yeah, certainly. So, within the world, there are billions, if not trillions, of different microbes on Earth. And the collection of these different microbes into specific areas or microbiota form these very complicated networks that all compete for resources within those local environments. Within your body, the microbes that exist within your gut use the resources that you consume to produce different metabolites within your body. So that competition of these different types of microbes, sometimes we refer to them as the genus or the species of microbes within your gut, all have different competitive advantages based on the resources and the nutrients that are provided to it in those local environments. And as a result of that competition, some organisms flourish and some organisms perish. And that mix and that balance of the different microbes within your gut has important associations with how you feel or your nutrition or other health effects that you might experience within your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, or year-to-year type of health outcomes.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. So could you discuss the global microbial biodiversity crisis and its potential implication for human health?
Yeah, certainly. There are really two types of biodiversity crises. One is based on environmental change, and the other one is based mostly on industrialization of the world in which we live. With industrialization, we'll start there. We have identified different types of interventions that can help to treat infections, like antibiotics and things of that nature. And those specific types of interventions are very helpful in getting acute disease under control. However, antibiotics typically do not target one specific pathogen within the body, but they influence a lot of different organisms within the body at the same time. That has caused depletion of the microbes that form communities within your body, and those communities suffer as a result of trying to mitigate infectious disease and pathogens within the body. On the environmental side, I think of the environmental side as being the nutrients in which we eat. Oftentimes, with industrialization and westernization of diets and nutrition, what you typically see are the movement towards more scalable ways of producing foods. So that industrialization of the foods that we eat takes away a lot of the naturally occurring variation in microbes that exist within the food itself. So those two things in combination have driven down the amount of biodiversity that we ingest in our nutrition, and also the biodiversity in which we live as people. Those are the two main drivers of the biodiversity crisis that we see here today. Even the ancient or the remote peoples throughout the world today, the hunter-gatherers and the very remote or rural types of populations throughout the world, have very different and very much more diverse microbiomes than the ones that we have within our cities and towns within the places that we live today. I guess changes in our microbiome, a narrowing of the diversity of the microbes that exist within our bodies, and consequently have been associated with different types of disease states.
Yes, and concerning this, we heard that you are working and your group is just working and focus on this microsetta initiative that enhance our understanding about the relationship between the microbiome and the various factors, lifestyles, health, and diet across different populations. Could you give us some more information about this?
Sure. The initiative is really aimed at trying to capture the broadest amount of samples from the broadest distribution of people throughout the world. So we have developed an infrastructure called the Microsetta Initiative to accomplish that goal. The Microsetta Initiative has two components. The first component is a mail-in survey or a mail-in type of sample contribution method where individuals who have interest in their microbiome can sign up to participate. We will mail them a sample collection kit. We ask approximately 150 different questions about mostly the phenotypic types of data that come along with stress, culture, environment, nutritional input, food frequency questionnaires. All of those survey questions, in conjunction with the sequencing data that we collect from the physical sample, are combined and then reported back to the participant to give them further insights about the types of organisms within their bodies and how they compare to other people in the world. So that's one way to participate. The second way to participate is if an organization or a company has a hypothesis that they would like to test on large populations of people. We also facilitate those large cohort studies to look at specific types of populations that might have nutritional or cultural differences between different populations. We work with them to identify the right hypothesis, the right questions to ask, and then recruit the cohorts that are needed to participate in these larger trials, and then go through the entire sample harvesting, questionnaires, and reporting of results to glean the differences between the different populations that we have studied, and then also to produce the results that differentiate one group from another.
Yes, thank you so much. This is so interesting, this group of research that you are doing. And this introduces us to the next question, that is, how can microbiome sequencing and personalized microbiome reports can be used by physicians to manage patient health in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what we've seen, throughout the kind of popular media have been a lot of people are looking for easy solutions that may be modulated by the gut microbiome or the foods that they eat or the nutritional supplements that they take. And unfortunately, the science doesn't necessarily support a silver bullet type of approach where taking a particular pre-pro or postbiotic completely ameliorates different types of health conditions. And that type of mindset or approach is disappointing, I'm sure, for the people that are looking for solutions to health concerns. And what we're looking to do is really to try to educate the population on the value of the microbiome, first of all, and then help to drive the science to create meaningful approaches towards changing and addressing these different types of health concerns. So the first, I think, thing that we can do to help physicians is to provide scientifically valid, evidence-based microbiome science so that they can work with their patients to really understand how the microbiome is influencing their health. Secondly, we have developed some tools that help to scour the scientific literature and look for associations between microbes and disease states. And that's a tool that artificial intelligence tool that we call the microdisco, or the microbe disease co-association tool. And that tool really isn't trying to provide any health guidance, but points the physician to the right literature to read, or points them towards the literature that has most highly cited in the scientific communities as an indication of where they should look for further information about these co-associations between microbes and disease. And then following that, give them the references such that they can draw their own medical guidance to provide to their patients. That's how we see the Microseta Initiative and the Microdisco, or the Microbe Disease Co-Association, working together to provide evidence-based guidance to physicians going forward.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you for this comprehensive overview that you gave us on this concept of One Health. And if someone is not yet convinced about not to ignore the environmental that just we are living with, because we cannot be healthy in an unhealthy environment. So we have to take care of everything, and really thank you for give us a lot of information on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the research that we're doing. And it's a pleasure seeing you again, and thank you for the chance to talk.
And that concludes today's episode. Thank you for joining us with Flavia Indrio and Andrew Bartko as we talked about environmental and microbiota intersection with human health. We hope you enjoyed and learned from this quick discussion, fellow experts. Till the next episode.